Hi there! The Boyer Sisters back again to answer your questions. Last week we covered fashion. This week we're covering creativity. Woohoo!
Yay!
So,
favorite subject.
Jessica, kick us off. This is from Tatyana. I love to write and I'm wondering what inspires y'all to write.
I would have to say that, first of all, I used to hate writing. And what inspires me to write is what is going on in my life, new things that I've learned, and also good books. Good writers really help inspire my writing. Usually I'll have like a voice going on inside my head whenever I read a certain book, and sometimes that voice will enter into my writing style.
Yep. I would definitely agree with that what inspires me to write is good literature. Reading a really well-written book can have such a huge impact. Even if it's anything from fiction to theology, just the pairing of words and the way they're arranged and just how metaphors are used, that type of thing, it's very inspiring.
Yeah. I would actually say for me it's completely different. Though those things are, to me, they're more helpful and less inspiring. For me, it's the desire to share knowledge with other people, and being able to like when I come across something and I like realize something for the first time, it's like, does anyone else in the world know this? You know? It's like so it's like that desire, that urge to share with others what I learn.
And then also find commonality.
Yeah, find commonality and find others. So I would actually say other people inspire me to write. Other seamstresses, other bloggers, they inspire me to write. So I can share too.
Yes. This one is from Miss Rachel. How did Charlotte learn about photography? Did she study somewhere or teach herself? So I learned about photography. So we've always been taking pictures as a family, no matter what, with our little point and shoots, iPhones, you name it. But I was the one to take it to the next level by purchasing my first DSLR camera, and the reason why I did that was because I was inspired by my friend Joanna of Joanna Christine Photography. Check her out. But she inspired me, and so whenever I first got my camera, she was the one who helped me learn manual mode and just really set me off on a good track. And I've been self-taught ever since. I pick up things really easily by observing and learning myself and teaching myself. I'm not very good at following a course and doing A, B, and C and all that stuff. If it's something artful, I want to figure it out myself. So I am self-taught, and I don't like looking at tutorials very much and that type of thing. I like figuring things out on my own. So that is my answer to your question. So from Carissa, I was wondering how Bridget got into / learned how to draft patterns, if you have any tips about learning that skill.
I got into learning how to draft patterns. Let's see. Making doll dresses. I would just trace around our little dollhouse dolls and make dresses. That was the start of it. And then I always wanted to do the same thing with my clothes. I was like, if I can do that for a doll, why can't I do that for me?
It takes a lot less fabric for one.
For a doll, yeah. And so it took several years, but Mom and Dad got me a pattern drafting software, which I don't use anymore. But that was sort of the thing that launched me into having enough confidence to actually look up tutorials on how to pattern draft. And so now it's not so much pattern drafting as pattern manipulation, just taking a basic pattern and, cutting and slashing it and adding folds, tucks, drapes, you name it, changing a pencil skirt to a circle skirt. That's what I do. A book I recommend is, I don't remember what it's called now.
Practical Dress Design?
Thank you. Practical Dress Design by Mabel D. Irwin. I think there should still be a freebie on the internet for that. Get that book.
It's incredible.
If you're interested in pattern drafting, because if you aren't ready to take the leap into actually drafting from scratch, it's amazing. I mean, it opens up the world to every type of clothing style you can imagine. So
Every time I ask her a question, how do I do this to a pattern, she just pulls out this huge black folder, plunk, plunk, plunk.
Here's
There
the
you
page.
go. And I'll just look at the picture.
So, and also I read a lot of sewing books. A lot of vintage sewing books.
That's like her fiction.
And
Yeah.
She just eats it.
and I look at vintage catalogs and stuff, and so that's how I got into it. It's just I'm a voracious researcher. I research constantly.
So the next question is from Claire. I know you girls make clothes, but do you do any hand sewing?
We really don't do a whole lot of hand sewing.
Like embroidery and that type of thing?
Yeah, we don't do that.
I do hand
so
sewing
much.
of clothes.
Right. Yeah, we all do, especially like finishing our clothes.
Buttonholes.
Yeah.
Buttons,
Doing hems,
snaps, hems,
finishing
Facings.
sleeves,
miles of
facings.
hems.
Interface or interlining.
You'd be
Yeah.
amazed at how much hand sewing actually goes into a garment if you do it.
But with like handwork and stuff, we are not into embroidery or embellishment.
If anyone is, I do it,
It's just
Yeah.
but not
Bridgie-
very often.
Bridgie
Whole
does do a
different
good
world.
job. Yeah.
The next question is from Miss Sarah K. What are your go-to shops for sewing/knitting products?
Fabric.com, Mood Fabrics, fabricstore.com, excellent source for linen. For
Organic cotton.
oh, thank you, Organic Cotton Plus.
That one is awesome.
Yeah, awesome,
Love their
awesome.
sateen.
And then as far as knitting goes, Knit Picks
Yes.
and webs.com.
Those are some great resources. The next question is from Alexandra. What advice would you give for starting a blog? How do you balance engaging readers with personal insight and experience while also maintaining a level of privacy? Okay, this is a hard question, but I'll endeavor to answer it as concisely as possible. So with starting a blog and establishing who you want to present yourself as, you kind of need to come up with like a mental, or even write it down, a list of just things that you are willing to share and things that you aren't. So for instance, we girls will share about our personal spiritual lives and like what things are going on with like our sewing projects and what new fashion things we're into and that type of thing. But we will not share personal family stuff. So like what might be going on with our mom and dad and that type of thing. We won't delve into like actual family interaction
Or,
as
like-
much.
Or even sharing like the house that we live in.
Yes.
I mean the walls that you see are in our house, but they're like the barest walls, and we don't
Share where that is.
We don't give room tours and that type
Yeah.
of thing. So just kind of figure out how much do you want to share and try and understand if that is like a good amount, because you don't want your blog to be your best friend where you share everything on there, because that's just gonna be like, no thank you, I don't want to know about all that stuff.
just keep a journal
So-
and then share it with your own children one day.
Right. But just think of what would be most tasteful and what would bring the best level of intimacy while still being private with your readers. So that's the best tip I can give. So the next question is from Carrie. Charlotte, do you use a specific set of Visco presets or them all? I use Visco 01 for Photoshop and Adobe Bridge. I think the edition of Photoshop is CS5. I have not upgraded to the Creative Cloud yet. So, yeah, those are the Visco presets I use.
That's all for that section. And be sure and subscribe and like this video if you liked it. And we'll be back next week with our next segment on beauty.